People want star power. People want big names. They want names that they know. But the Rays way has always been shocking people with who they go and find and who they go and develop. And it's
Right.
really giving that at its finest as it is right now. And that's why I'm excited. And I feel like I'm yelling into like an empty room of like, no, I think you're going to be surprised. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I have taken about a month off, and I'm very sorry about that because I said I was going to do better. But I brought a special guest today. You might know him as running from the OPS or the ops, is what I call him constantly. Like, I don't think I've ever called him by his real name, but I'll have him introduce himself.
Yeah, my name is Ethan. Go by OPS or Ops, just depends on how people want to pronounce it. But no, I'm really excited to be on, and I appreciate you having me on today.
Yes, thank you. We ran into each other like a week ago at this
Yeah.
point. We've been mutuals on social media and finally crossed paths IRL, as the kids say. And we had talked a little bit at first or full squad workouts. And then I was like, wait, I should talk to him about previewing the season. So that is what we are going to do. We actually both attended the same game today, although separately. But what was your biggest takeaway? Because I actually walked away. Well, I walked into that game slightly disappointed because I don't know, I want to see everyone. But I walked away seeing the people that I was curious about having a pretty decent game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people that I guess aren't super tapped in with baseball, like you'll see like the first 5 innings where like all the starters are playing, and then 6 through 9, all the prospects come in. That's like my favorite part. So seeing Nathan Flowering come in, Homer Bush Jr. come in, even Arianama was able to get some at bats. But I mean, at least for me, like Jacob Melton hitting, there wasn't a distance measurement on it, but it was like 104.8. Absolute no doubter. And granted, the pitch was like 90 miles an hour right down the center of the plate. Like he's not going to be seeing that, but him getting a really good, A swing off, getting able to, just pulling the ball and hitting an absolute bomb was, I mean, worth the price of admission right there.
Yeah, I was really happy to see him do that just because I feel like it needs to get out there that the Rays really have a lot of hope in this kid, and rightfully so. But the sooner that you could kind of get his name out there, and that home run was a good way to do it,
Right.
I think is the best way kind of going forward with him. So I remember I actually said to the Pirates fan next to me, I was like, okay, that's why you have Bilal, because they were trying to figure out
Yeah.
how everybody, because like Monty pitched at one point, and I
Yeah.
was
That
like,
was
that.
cool.
Yes, I was just sitting there. I didn't even dawn on me because I was looking for Jake, and then I think he split squad and probably played at their other game. But then
Mhm.
next thing I know, I saw Monty, and I was like, "Wait, okay, this is full circle moment, kind of." But I was like, "Yeah, this Jacob Melton guy, this is the guy that they're hoping for the best with." So it was good to see him. I think Ryan Valade had a few good ABs, maybe like you were saying before we started recording, like maybe not the results that we wanted, but still looked good out there too, which I'm rooting for him personally.
Yeah, no, the approach has been good with him. Like, and I just feel like, I mean, spring training, like results are important, especially if they're good. The bad results you don't really take away from them too much. I mean, it's spring, we're 2 games in now. But for him to have a couple of good approach ABs, he also has looked really good in live ABs too, from what I've heard. So there's a lot to look forward to, and his profile in the minors was really, really well balanced too. This isn't a guy that's gonna come and then maybe get DFA'd or whatever. He has no options left. I think there's a lot of talent there, and he can play a multitude of positions.
Yeah, and that no options kind of segueing into the outfield and what it's going to look like going into the season. Obviously, we're at the very beginning of spring training and barring health and all of that good stuff, but what's your what do you I know we're in a group chat together, Ops and I, and I know there's been some debate. There's some highly contested takes on who is the opening day outfield, but I want to know yours. What do you want to
Um,
see?
I mean, it's not going to happen. But if it was Mullins, and then Jacob Melton, and then Chandler Simpson, but ideally, I mean, Jake Fraley did get paid. I mean, he's not a lock, but pretty sure a lock. Cedric Mullins is a lock in center field. Jake Fraley ideally is going to be playing right.
Uh-huh.
Left field, I think is a battle. I mean, Malloy's not going to be out there every single day. He's going to be like a platoon guy against lefties.
Right.
Chandler Simpson, maybe they start him in AAA, or I mean, same thing with Jacob Melton. But ideally, I'd want to be Mullins, and then Jacob Melton, and then Chandler Simpson.
All right, that's fair. I also appreciated the ABs, and I believe it was a pretty nice line drive that Malloy had.
Yeah, I mean, against a lefty too. I mean, he has like a 138 WRC plus against lefties in his career, like 38% above league average. So, I mean, even if he's not playing an outfield spot, if he's like a platoon guy, plays like twice a week, really good against lefties, that's very valuable. Especially, I mean, recently, I'd say like the last few years, we've had some struggles against lefties. So having a bat like that's pretty nice.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with his size. I know that might sound weird, but
Nice, big guy.
he's a big
He's a
guy.
big guy.
Yeah, I guess I didn't get that from the TV, but he's a big guy. So I think I like this spring training. I know there's a lot to be decided, and like you said, maybe they don't go the route that you want, but
Right.
I like that there's so many players playing for a potential spot. Like,
Right.
I think that brings the best out in spring training.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of competition, and like, ideally, I mean, just roster construction wise, you do give the ABs and the playing time for the guys at the beginning that have no options, because I
Uh-huh.
mean, you can't just get rid of them, especially if you're high on them. So let them kind of play it out. Maybe I mean, if Chandler Simpson does start in AAA or Jacob Melton starts in AAA, let them get maybe a month or whatever under their belt, and then slowly work them, their way up. But I do like that there's a lot of competition, and it's not like some of these players are just not full potential players. I mean, I think all the guys, in the outfield are very competitive and good players. So,
Yeah. No, they're all
uh,
very legit. They all could make an argument for themselves going into this season. And
right,
I think that's getting a lot lost by a lot of Rays fans who are just like, you know, we go into this offseason, we lose a Bilal, we lose a Josh Lowe, lose names that people are familiar with. But on the flip side, look at all these guys that we have that can compete for these roles. And I think that just is going to make for a better product. So that leads me to, in your opinion, how would you describe this team in a way? Like I said, I know it's still early, but I tend to be a little bit more optimistic. I'm not thinking like the moon, obviously,
no,
but I think there's some excitement. Like there are things to look out for.
yeah. I mean, I think it's like a low 80s to mid 80s win team. I think it's a team that could maybe get a wild card spot. I mean, the division is insane. I mean, no one's doubting that. Um, But I think as a team, what I think they're better at, the outfield last year, to just put it bluntly, was just not good. Second half of last year, they were like last in runs created plus, RBIs, home runs, hard hit percentage, barrel rate. I mean, anything you can think of. So having a higher floor outfield is very important. And I mean, even bringing in a guy like Gavin Lux, like he's not going to be a utility guy. He's going to be playing second base. I think that helps his bat a lot. He knows exactly where he's going to play every day. Really good, in zone contact hitter, good plate discipline. Could be used, versatility wise if they want him to. And then even a guy like Ben Williamson, I think could be really, really good player. Scrappy, plays a lot of different positions, contact oriented guy. And then if Jonathan Aranda stays healthy, I mean, his year last year would have been insane. I mean, it was already really good, but just think about if he's able to play those last like 40 games, Junior Caminero is going to be a beast. And then you have, guys like Jacob Melton and Jake Fraley, I think is still a solid bat. And you have, I think the multitude of just good quality MLB guys. And I think just having a better outfield in general will definitely help the team.
Yeah, I definitely think it's an interesting construction. You mentioned Aranda. I love him so much. He's so quiet and shy, but he's so driven and so focused and he gets his job done. And if he can repeat what he did last year this season, I mean, you
Right.
couldn't ask for more. And same goes for Cammy. I mean, listen, I know he doesn't want to put any pressure on himself and he just plays his game, but even anything remotely close to what he did in his first full season is great and something to look forward to. And then you have Yandy, who everyone knows is my favorite, but just like a solid reliable piece, reliable guy, God knock on wood. Um, and then you have those sort of locks in your lineup, and then, like you
Right.
said, you have all of these other pieces, solid players, players who also are trying to prove something. I even think, and I hate to bring him up, but JDL, Johnny DeLuca, like, his season last year stunk. He played 20 games, and he was
Right.
frustrated with health, and he comes to camp, he looks good. Here's another chance to wiggle your way into that offense, and that to me is going to prove, or is going to hopefully show results of everyone really putting their best foot forward, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, I think DeLuca, like, I mean, I think we've talked about it a few times. If he's like your fourth outfielder and he plays like, maybe 2 to 3 times per week, I think he's like a 1.5 to 2 WAR guy at like his max, which is
Right.
really good. He could play a multitude of any of the other outfield spots.
Uh-huh.
Freak athlete. I think they're banking on him being healthy. And yeah, I do like a guy like Giant DeLuca being like the fourth outfielder. It can just kind of roam any outfield spot you put him in.
Yeah,
And I think the bat is capable of being a lot better than what we've seen too.
yeah, and he got a hold of one yesterday, pretty good, little bit of a, I think he hit it out, what, to left field? I can't remember. Someone was like, He almost hit it out and you didn't say anything." I'm like, "Okay, guys, calm down. I'm fine." Like, "It's fine. I'm just watching with everybody else." But also kind of to his point and the rest of the way that this roster is constructed, guess what the Rays are doing again? Prioritizing defense.
Yeah,
It's
I thought I mean, that's kind of the bread and butter of the team. Like I said, I mean, Gavin Lux defensively, it will be better than Brandon Lowe. Even Jacob Melton, like I know Cedric Mullins is a very capable center fielder. I know some of the metrics were down last year, but you have Cedric Mullins, and when Jacob Melton does get regular playing time through maybe the back half of the season, those are like two really good center fielders that are going to be in two different outfield spots. And Chandler Simpson's working with KK, maybe improving his defense. He's a freak athlete. The defense is probably going to come at some point. Maybe if it's not fully this year, but possibly next year. So yeah, those three guys. Jake Fraley's a good defender. Johnny DeLuca, who we talked about, is a good defender. Junior Camanero's defense was insane down the stretch. And then you have guys like Carson Williams, who's one of the most elite defenders in the minors. You still have Taylor Walls, Ben Williamson, Jonathan Aranda. I mean, it's granted it's first base, still a pretty solid defender. And then you have Hunter Fiducia, who I think is a capable defender behind the plate. And then Nick Fortes is a fantastic backup catcher that can, call a game, frame some pitches, and control the run game. So all around, the whole team is pretty solid defensively.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, they want the star power, they want the power and things like that, but this team goes back to the basics in defense, behind the ball, limiting runners, limiting damage. And also, I think that I it's funny that you brought up Fetty today. I'm rooting so hard for him. I don't think you understand. With all the talk in the offseason about, can the Rays just sign a catcher? Can the Rays just sign a catcher? We know all the names that were thrown out there, and it's just like, I truly think that, I don't know. I think that they believe in both of those guys. They traded for both of those guys, and they
Right.
had an even bigger trade to get Fetty. So I'm like just really rooting for them. I believe them behind the plate. I think what Fortes is probably your better defense or
Yeah,
framing.
Fortes is a great defender behind the plate. Yeah.
Yeah. But just if they can just contribute just a hair. I
Right.
mean, we've been
Yeah.
cursed at the catching position, but I have to believe that they're going to show what the Rays obviously believed in them. I'm just not willing to give up on them yet, if that
No,
makes sense.
I know, I agree. I don't think you can. And like even Dom Keegan last year was hurt coming into camp. Like we did, and his numbers were down last year. I know his quality of contact metrics were still really good, but he wasn't even fully healthy. So get him into camp fully healthy. He'll be up at some point. He could be a guy that could stay in the org for a few more years and put together some quality seasons behind the plate. But dude, Hunter Fiducia in the minors was insane against fastballs, great plate discipline, um, just good overall zone control. And I think he's and even if he's an average catcher behind the plate and he's around like a 100 to like a 105 WRC plus, a little bit above league average, that's fine. And then you have Nick Fortes, who good game caller, kind of like a veteran presence with some of the young guys on the team. I think that's fine for what it is, especially if, Dom Keegan gets reps, midway through the season.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm really, really, really rooting for that to happen. So this week we did find out who is our opening day starter, Drew Rasmussen, which to me, without question, just such a deserving and such a underrated pitcher. And I'm so glad he's getting his moment on opening day. That's just full circle to me.
Yeah, I mean, how many guys have had 3 major arm surgeries? I mean, you're expecting a decent amount from him last year, but, like, what he was able to do, I don't think anyone, even people within the org, they might have
Yeah.
had a slight thought, but, like, not really. I mean, he delivered on almost everything. He was an all-star. I think he starts tomorrow too, so
Oh,
I'll be able to see him, but yeah, Drew
yeah.
Rasmussen put together a fantastic season.
So
And I
good.
mean, the rotation in general this year should be very good. And that's not even guys with, TJ Nichols, Brody Hopkins, Ty Johnson. Like there's a lot of arm talent with the Rays, and that's not, something that's not going to be new. They always
Right.
have guys that can, throw really hard or have, weird arm angles or different releases. Like they're very good at developing and identifying pitchers.
For sure, and I think that goes alongside that defense. I mean, good pitching, good defense,
Right.
control controlling the runs. I'm looking for I think it's a solid rotation. I just don't think it's a flashy rotation necessarily. Signing Steven Matz, Nick Martinez, kind of raises an eyebrow. I think they're good veteran presence as well. But that's a solid start, starting rotation, and like all those guys you listed, as there are so many people hanging in the wings
Right.
that are
I mean,
solid.
if Joe Boyle somehow, I mean, he's probably going to be in the bullpen, but and,
Right.
and and we'll see how he kind of goes down the line through maybe this season or the next season if he's still here. But
Yeah.
Joe Boyle, if he improves his command, the stuff is, I mean, insane. Like Brody Hopkins definitely will be getting reps this year. There's,
Mhm.
even if Steven Matz goes back to the bullpen or he's kind of like a swing man and, Brody Hopkins is in the rotation or whoever else, they have so many different puzzle pieces that they can just kind of work with.
Yeah, and I think that makes for a really interesting season, and that's why I'm not writing them off because there's so many possibilities. I mean, just what you were just saying with Drew, no one could have expected him to do what
No.
he did. You can say that for all other arms going into this
Yeah, same
about
thing with Shane this year too. It's like
yeah,
you don't fully know what you're expecting, but you know the quality of pitcher that he is, even if he's not the same, which I don't think anyone's expecting him to be. He hasn't pitched in really 2 years,
yeah.
but if he's able to deliver, Ryan Pepio's like back at the trop. The fastball is going to be crazy. Being indoors and playing with the vertical break and stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of upside, and I think the team is definitely better than it was last year. Them not having to play at Steinbrenner and have a bunch of humidity and balls leaving the yard and just I think more consistent offense. Like Josh Lowe was just not that good last year. Jake Mangum was solid, but kind of faltered off towards the end.
Uh-huh.
Christopher Morel had maybe one or two big moments with the Rays, and that was about it. You go from like those three, and then even Cam Meisner, which I think he
Uh-huh.
got picked up by the Royals, but you have like four outfielders who ideally were below league average hitters.
Yeah.
So you go from that to having, I think, three or four capable outfielders. You throw in, Johnny DeLuca and Jacob Melton and Cedric Mullins and all these guys. I think that alone helps them a lot. That the outfield better defensively, hopefully a healthy team. Some of the even the prospects that will play this year will be healthier, and then being back at the Trop, I think is a good recipe for success.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the Trop. Watching Griffin Jacks today, I love watching Griffin Jacks pitch. I don't think I'm in the minority there, but I do feel like he had some moments last season after being traded over here that uh, people were doubting him, at least on my TL, which my TL tends to be very negative.
Yeah.
But I also had the thought watching him today, really great outing. We haven't seen him pitch at the Trop. Get
No, I think there was one video of him actually pitching at the Trop in 24, and he just went like absolutely. I think he struck out the side. He struck out the side today too. Um, Seeing the sweeper at
exactly.
the Trop, the fastball, flashed a really good changeup today. Like Griffin Jacks is like a top 15 reliever in baseball. I think at the absolute worst. Um, he could be a guy that can throw 80 to 90 innings as a reliever, which you don't really see too often.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, they're like the more you talk about it out loud and you see, the contact improvements and the defensive improvements and the guys, being healthy and some of the fun arms that they've added even through waiver claims. There's a lot to look forward to with the season. I know the division is stacked, but like this team is for sure better than it was last year. I don't really think that's a question, in my opinion.
100%. And I just think it goes back to, people want star power, people want big names, they want names that they know. But the Rays way has always been shocking people with who they go and find and who they go and develop. And it's
Right.
really giving that at its finest as it is right now. And that's why I'm excited. And I feel like I'm yelling into like an empty room of like, no, I think you're going to be surprised. Obviously, there's things, and I'm praying for health. I was also looking at Griffin today, just thinking, okay, he's going to pitch in the WBC. Please
Right.
stay healthy. And that goes for every single player across the league. Health is wealth, especially going into the season at all times.
Right.
But that's a big question mark too. But just kind of how we were talking about before, there are tons of people in the wings too. Obviously, we want everyone to stay healthy, but it felt like last year when we started the season, I mean, 2 days before opening day, Richie Palacios goes down, and that's why Cameron Meisner was called up. That's why
Yeah.
he was the game 1 hero, because Richie went down. DeLuca went down not long after that. That's how we got Mangum. Like, it was just a revolving door of either injury or and it just never felt, it never got settled. And I
Yeah.
feel like going into the season, if health can remain, a non-issue, it's pretty settled, and if not, they have a lot better options than they have in the past. So
Right.
I'm very, like you said, the more you talk about it out loud, the more I'm kind of like,
Yeah,
okay,
no,
I want to see it.
we didn't even I mean, you mentioned Richie Palacios. I don't think we mentioned him up until this point. Like, I loved him when he was with St. Louis. I couldn't even believe that we acquired him at the time because the swing is just so money. Um, if he's fully healthy, really good plate discipline, I think the quality of contact is still really good. Like, there's a lot of juice in that bat that we still haven't fully seen. Like, that's still another guy that if he's playing, twice a week, if they're going to use him that way, or however the Richie Palacios journey goes. But like, if he's healthy and he's going to be part of this team this year and maybe for the foreseeable future to an extent, it's still really, really solid player. Like, the quality of player this year will be miles better than it was last year, especially just like all around the team.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I was thinking about Richie earlier when we were in the weeds of everyone else, and I'm like, there's just so many,
Yeah,
many
there's a lot of
people.
depth, a lot of good depth, which especially like for baseball season, like you're going to have guys go down. It's inevitable. We just saw, hopefully Edwin Uceda has everything go according to plan.
Yeah.
But ideally, you're going to have a guy in the rotation that either is out for the year or misses a substantial amount of time. Same thing with some of your star players. You're going to have a star player go down for a long period of time. It's inevitable. It's just, who is it going to be? How do you fill that spot? How are you prepared for it in terms of your MLB roster, your organizational depth? And I think the Rays have done a really good job this offseason addressing that.
Yeah, I think last year in so many ways was such a lesson. Obviously, like you mentioned before, we had to play at Steinbrenner, and that was less than ideal. Okay. And
Right.
Neander said himself, this team was not meant to play there. Like, they
No.
were not built to play there, and they got exposed. But so did the injuries and things that we were just talking about. And I think going into this off season, it was almost, they were like, we're not letting that happen again. Like,
Right.
we have to go. I mean, I think that's why you signed Jake Fraley, is because you get on book and you acquire that and have it on your roster, because you're not going through this, wave again, if that makes sense. So, I think that they really did, like you said, I think that they did a good job, um, building a roster with the idea that there might be so many scenarios that play out.
Right. Yeah, I think you have to build a roster like that. And even with Jake Fraley, like Jake Fraley, I believe was drafted by the Rays. Like, he's
Yep.
been in the org before. So this is a guy that they like as a personality. They like him as a player.
Mhm.
And I think he could be like, a one war guy or like a 1.5, win player. I mean, it's a solid spot for him to lock up.
Mhm.
Maybe he's not playing every single day down the stretch, but um, like I said, him and Mullins are like pretty much a lock to make the opening day roster in terms of like the outfield. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think them addressing just a multitude of different things on the team that I didn't think they did the best job last season addressing,
Right.
which I don't even think that's really mean to say. I think they would probably agree too.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so yeah, there's just a lot to be excited about,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
For sure. I'm gonna ask you one more little thing, then I'm gonna do a lightning round, and then you can go eat dinner. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna step back because hmm, I don't feel that I'm the person to talk about him. I need your thoughts on Carson Williams in shortstop 2026 in general.
Um, I like Carson Williams. I pointed out a few times on Twitter. I don't know if it is the Durham batter's eye. I don't know if it is the time he's playing at. I know that sometimes there's a really weird shadow that's like in between the mound and home plate.
Uh-huh.
He, since he's been called up, he has not been able to hit at home. He strikes out like 40% of the time at home.
Hmm.
The OPS is like south of 600, just like not playable. If you look at his road numbers, especially last year, the OPS was around 900. The strikeout rate was like 28%, still not the best, but not
Mhm.
40%. The
Right.
glove is really good. I mean, the pop is certainly there, especially against fastballs. But if he's able to clean up any of the plate discipline, it's not going to be good. He's going to swing and miss still. You can't just magically clean up those things. But I think he could be like a solid 2.5, 3-1 player just because of
Okay.
how good he is defensively. There's certainly 20 plus home run pop. I mean, hopefully he gets there, but I know it's kind of a mixed bag. But I think if you like look more into his season rather than just saying, oh, he hit two whatever with 20 home runs and like a 99 WRC plus, which is about a percent less than league average. Go and look at the splits. I just think he is not seeing the ball well at AAA. I've always thought that. I haven't seen really anyone talk about it, but I think Carson Williams could be a solid player.
I
Um,
think that's very interesting. I knew you were the right person to ask because I can't figure him out. I know that I really and I know small sample size. Don't attack me. I know, but we saw him get called up last season, and
he got
I think
exposed. I mean,
okay, yes, but I also feel like shortstop is almost like a bad word, and I feel like I'm very impatient when it comes to that position right now for a multitude of reasons that
right.
we won't get into. So I'm not really giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I do feel like the context that you just provided is fair. And, being called up last year, being in camp again, I think this is like his second or third camp. He said it
It might be his
himself.
fourth.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I think
high.
it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
He's like, and the way he was talking about it was almost like he was a veteran because he's like, oh, this is like my 20th camp. Like I've
He's
been
still
here a
what,
million.
22 or 23?
Yeah, he's quite young, but not his first go around when it comes to spring training. And I do think that all of that does play into, well rounding a player. Even getting exposed last year, like you said, obviously, you don't necessarily want that to happen, but he had the off season to adjust. He had the off season to come into camp with those adjustments. And so I just think personally, and if you're like me, maybe show some patience with him because there is the potential there. But the problem is you either go down that route or the Taylor Walls route. And listen, I like watching him play at short. Okay, so
Yeah, and to Carson Williams' point, no offense to anything, but he doesn't have a lot of competition at shortstop right now. I mean, compared to like if he was on another team, like
literally any other team.
he doesn't have too much competition. But to Taylor Wallace's point, I mean, literally led shortstops in defensive run saved. Like he's a wizard there.
He is.
But the bat hasn't been there. It's like I think he's been like a point 0.1 or point 0.2 win player over his last 180 games. There's not a lot of competition for Carson Williams, but if you are someone that doesn't really think highly of him, I I could kind of get it, but the width, if it's able to improve a little bit, the plate discipline a little bit, it's never going to be probably even league average. But if you have a really good defensive shortstop with like 20 plus home runs, that's a pretty easily like 2-win player. Um, and I think he's young enough to where, I mean, he's what, 22 or 23 years old. He has plenty of time to develop. And hopefully I mean, he's able to hit at the trot because there's some players that like can't see the ball there either. So it'll be kind of a let's see what happens thing.
Right.
But I'm certainly not as negative as I've seen some other people.
Low key me. And it's not that I'm negative.
It's fair. I mean, there's I if while we're talking about something else, I'll mute myself and I'll like actually pull up the home and away numbers because like there's certainly something that like he was not seeing the ball well there,
And
in
you're
my opinion.
absolutely right that that hasn't been discussed. I have not seen that anywhere, but that certainly helps me in giving a little bit more patience and grace to Carson Williams. Listen, I want him to do well. When he hit that home run, that first home run last season, I was like jumping for joy. I was so happy for him. I want him to do well. I want every player to do well, but sometimes you just get a little frustrated. But
Yeah, a good ceiling, but the floor could be very low. Not like I mean, it kind of depends though, because like the defense, like you don't see an overall WAR or like overall baseball value in the minors. You just see hitting value.
right,
But if he's very, very good defensively and he grades well in DRS or OAA, if you want to use it for infielders, like that is a very valuable part of his game, especially if he's able to hit for power at the major league level. So that's also something that people aren't looking at either because you just look at the offense with minor league guys.
right. No, I'm all for the defense. Like we talked a big chunk about is, getting back to that way. And I think that's why they're high on him anyway. And that ceiling that you're talking about. We got to get there. And I hope that we do because I just would like to get, people talk about the catching situation. No, no, no. Shortstop situation. We gotta get
Yeah,
that
shortstop is yeah.
for many reasons.
It's definitely up there. Yeah, for reasons we won't mention, it is definitely top of the pecking order.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. Have we missed anyone? Because I do feel like we did a good job at least.
I have the depth chart pulled up too. I mean, I think we've mentioned pretty much everyone.
I'm pretty impressed
Um,
because I don't have anything written, like no names on this.
oh, I will say Yohendrys Gomez today was throwing like I know like maybe some people won't really understand it, but he was throwing, I think it was a sweeper at like 83 with like 22 inches of horizontal break. It literally like a like wiffle ball movement, almost two full feet of movement. Um,
I did want to hear more about kind of what we saw today. I know that Woodford, yeah, um,
yeah,
he's
he
funky.
yeah, funky delivery. There's like a lot to play with. I mean, you could look at like the service level results. Like I think it's like a 5 ERA, 5 FIP, if I'm correct on that. But
Mhm.
like there's a lot of outlier stuff with him that I do like. And I think there's been a few clips of like I think it's a changeup that he's throwing to hitters. It's like higher than league average in terms of velocity, and like hitters don't even know what the pitch is. Um, just the bull. We haven't really touched, I guess, too much on the bullpen, but I mean, like we talked
Mhm.
about Griffin Jacks. Griffin Jacks going to be obviously very good. Garrett Clevenger, Brian Baker, Mason Englert, if he's able to find a role this season.
Yeah.
Joe Boyle's still in there. There's a lot of upside with the bullpen. That's not even like with some of the other like minor league names we were talking about at the beginning of this too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. A lot of those bullpen arms minus Pete are arms that we've seen before. So I feel like that makes people a little bit more comfortable
Right.
going into the season. I think the closer by committee will be interesting because it's nice to have a closer. I'm not saying like I do love Pete, but I'm not saying like anything was high on Pete, but it is nice to have one and just
Oh,
hopefully Usade's
we haven't
okay.
we
Like
haven't mentioned Hunter Biggie. That's like I think the only person on the
this is
team.
why I asked because if we would have gotten off and I would have realized I'd have been so mad. But okay, wait, before you begin on Hunter Biggie, he looks Biggie, right?
Yeah, he's definitely a big guy.
But he looks like I don't know, he looks a little different to me, not in a bad way, but I was like, "Okay, hello, welcome back." Because I know he pitched in the Winter League.
Yeah, he's I think he's still up to like 98. He's flashed a new changeup. Guys will kind of have to see it as it plays out, but I've heard some like some pretty good things about it. Um, still kind of like playing with it, but I think it's a very good offering to get guys off of his fastball. Like, look, this guy literally has when healthy, it's like a top 10 graded fastball and just like not results right, just stuff like vertical break, horizontal break, VAA, just all the characteristics of the pitch. It is gross. He's throwing it up to 100. Some good breaking stuff, a developing changeup. If he is like locked in this year, he's healthy. He has a good camp. I think Hunter Biggie could like be getting some good chances to save some games this year. Like this stuff is Hunter Biggie is insane when he is healthy. I
I
think
like
adding
the
an off
sound of that.
speed, getting off the fastball a little bit, a new look, just mess with some timing, sequencing. Hunter Biggie could be like a pretty big X factor for the Rays, especially if he's just healthy. The arm talent is crazy.
Don't excite me. Don't excite me. Speaking of excitement, though, I don't know if you watched him. He didn't pitch too much in the Winter League, but he was absolutely electric when he did. He was so into it. And if that's what he needs going into the season,
I'm all for it.
he's it. Yeah. I'm hoping for I can't believe we didn't talk about Hunter Biggie. I'm really hope that you got me very excited for that. And I really don't
He's insane.
I'm not too nervous about that bullpen. I don't know, question marks about Engler, things like that. But
I am never worried about the Rays bullpen. I think ever. You have to think the only time they have been remotely bad was last year, and they're playing in a minor league ballpark. And a lot of the guys that we had were like fly ball pitchers.
yeah,
So you plan on, if the hurricane comes through, you're not planning on playing there.
no.
You have some fly ball pitchers that throw really hard. If they're getting pieced up, there's going to be plenty of balls that are leaving the yard. Like how many times Mason Montgomery is so nasty. I don't care what his results are. He got pieced up so many times last year on his arguably best graded fastball because he didn't have location. He's playing in a human minor league ballpark. Like you go from that to having some guys with softer contact, Steven Matz, Nick Martinez, some more ground ball guys. I think it's like a huge recipe for success. But yeah, like bro, if Hunter Biggie is healthy, like that will be so fun to watch. Like he is so good, and we like really haven't even seen like a good enough sample size from him.
I will agree with that. I think that we've seen him, but we that sample size is so small. So
No,
just the thought of that being
right.
prolonged is so exciting. So now you got me hyped on that. Anyone else that we missed? Did you still have the I would be
The
remiss
the depth chart. I mean, no, I think we've covered like pretty much everything. I think Cole Sulser too. Like Cole Sulser is like kind of a
today.
flyer guy, but like pitched today. He's had
Mhm.
some really good, stuff with the Rays. There's a lot to like there. I think we've touched on. I mean, I've looking at the team. Like I think every single player.
I don't want to toot our horn, but we did that pretty well. All
No,
all on
I think
all
that
on our
was good.
own.
I think that was good.
All on our own.
I think there's certainly a lot to be excited for, and even like I mean, I think they'll be better than last year, even if they win, maybe the same amount of games. Like the young core of the team is unbelievable. The talent that they have in the farm is insane.
Yep.
It's so much depth. There's so much to be excited about. Even like if this is a bridge year with new ownership, and they're not going to be spending as much money because I mean they have a stadium to reconstruct, kind of get that settled in,
Yeah.
get the Junior Caminero contract done, and then kind of get into the new wave of new wave of Rays baseball. Like there's a lot to be excited about. There's
Yeah.
so much talent within the organization, not even at the MLB level.
I'm so glad you said that because people aren't realizing that they're looking on the surface, but this is an exciting time for Rays fans. I know that I say that and you might think whatever about me saying it, but just everything he just said, they're putting their best foot forward out I think, this season, given what constraints that they have, right? And that's what they're known to do, right?
Right.
They're always under a constraint of some sort. And so they went out, they made significant moves, in my opinion, to fix those issues that we were talking about and still field a good, exciting team this year. But in the wings, as we've said, are really good players who in theory, I think we were going to see once this franchise takes off in a whole new era of of baseball. And that's why a lot of people keep asking me, or why haven't they signed Cammy to an extension, thinking that they won't. Obviously, like you said, stadium. Got to get that signed.
Yeah,
Get
it is
It's
99.9%
going
gonna
to
happen.
happen,
There's no
right?
shot it does not happen.
Listen, this is how I think about it. They just bought this team with millions of headwinds, right? Like from stadium to Tropicana to just other things we won't talk about. They, in my mind, were given Junior Caminero on a silver platter. You're not letting that go. We just got to get our ducks in a row
Right.
because he's
Yeah.
exactly who you want to build this franchise on. I mean, I would be so grateful if I was a billionaire and I purchased this team and I'm like, great, that's our guy. It's going to get taken care of,
Yeah,
but
as much as Junior Caminero is like an insane player, he's like just as good of a person. And Taylor, like, there's a chance that next year, like, he's speaking better English than we are, bro. It is like his evolution as a player, as a person, as a family guy with a kid. Like, bro, he's like he's younger than I am. Like, it almost is like, wow, like, what am I doing with my life? Like, Junior Caminero is having a kid, hitting 45 home runs, learning English, improving defensively. It makes no sense. He's
and
so
let me just
talented.
add all of those things you just said. And then you and I were at Full Squad on Tuesday for the first day. He walks around like he is just another guy.
Yeah, he's a kid just playing baseball.
He doesn't have an ego. He's not trying to, stiff arm anyone or cold shoulder. I mean, he's the superstar on the team. You would never know it.
Right.
And I mean, again, they're sitting on this gold mine that is Junior Caminero, but they're also sitting on multiple little gold mines that are the farm system and the guys that they are going to build around as we move on into what I hope is a new era in Rays baseball, which I'm very excited for. So, good. I love all of that. Okay, so I'm gonna do a lightning round and then you can eat dinner.
Sounds good. Before you get into it, I was gonna say a lot of those little gold mines I think you'll see this year too. I think that some of the farm guys will be yes.
Okay, we're gonna get previews.
Especially some of the arm talent. I think it's gonna be crazy.
I am very excited to see Brody Hopkins. I've never seen him pitch. I
Brother, it's insane.
Yeah, I've never seen. I
He's
missed.
so good.
I was in Atlanta for the Futures game, and I wasn't there that day. But I wanted to see him. Anyway, okay, can't wait to see that. Okay, wait. Most most underrated player going into this season.
I want to say Jacob Melton, but like I don't even know if you could like I was so excited that they got him. I couldn't even believe it. I thought when my friend texted me it was fake. Underrated. I'm not gonna say him. I would just say Hunter Biggie. Like, bro, if he's healthy, he's so good. Like,
I love that I love how much you love him.
he's good. Like,
Fair.
we haven't seen it. There hasn't been a large enough sample size anywhere, even with Chicago. The
Mhm.
arm talent's good. Developing changeup, improve some of the pitch locations. I think that's a very easy pick in my opinion. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's a very underrated guy going into this year if he's like fully healthy.
So
But
we're just gonna keep him safe in the dugout. He's not allowed to be on the railing.
yeah, dude, thank God he's okay now. Like,
I know,
seriously.
but like seriously, we're protecting
Bubble
him.
wrap him. Yes,
Bubble
please
wrap.
bubble wrap him. But yeah,
He's not
Hunter
allowed on the
Biggie and
railing.
then Jacob Melton. Like, I think Jacob Melton could go absolutely crazy this year.
God, I really hope so. You have no idea. I know it's only the second game, but I was not getting frustrated, but I was like, come on, Jacob. I really want to see. And I'm so glad he got a hold of that one. Obviously, like you said, he, was served to him, but I need him to, one, introduce himself to the fan base, and two, gets a roll in, or get a
Yeah.
little bit of momentum. But I don't want him to have that pressure on him, because when you talk about him, it's like, oh, that's the guy they traded for, and like that's the guy. I don't want that to weigh on him too much, so I'm just gonna hope that all happens kind of organically.
Yeah, naturally, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, most overrated concern of this team.
Um,
Hmm.
as far as like what the public might be like concerned about,
Yeah, let's address the public.
um,
Oh, I have one.
Yeah, you could go for it's kind of there's a lot of different ways I could go, but it's like I think some of the public stuff is like super overblown sometimes, but
Well,
you could go
that's
first.
why I
Might
try
be
to
the
like
same thing.
that's why I do this so that we can like, talk about it. My thought, my overrated most overrated concern from the fan base is losing Bilal's bat.
Dude, that was gonna be mine. I will only say that because I see a lot of just negative stuff on Gavin Lux and all this stuff. I know maybe some of you that aren't listening like don't know what WAR is, don't know what some of the advanced stuff is. Okay, like Brandon Lowe is like a 2-win player. I don't think he even has been a 2-win player the last couple seasons. He's like a high one guy. Gavin Lux, if he is just at second, doesn't have to worry about playing left, playing right, playing shortstop, playing third, like anywhere they wanted him to play with Cincinnati. He is going to put up possibly just as much WAR overall player value or more than Brandon Lowe. And he's better defensively. He has better plate discipline. He has more versatility. He makes more contact, makes more in zone contact. I, I fully agree with you because there's has been some negativity
Yeah.
in that aspect.
Yeah. And it just goes to like I get the fans. I know, I get it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of my core. You read the headline, they trade their longest tenured Ray, Brandon
Right.
Lowe. The emotions kind of flood. But that's why I think it's so important to have this context of like, okay, here's who they've signed, here's what he can do.
Right.
Let's remind you, Brandon wasn't that good defensively. I don't think
No.
people maybe realize that because
No,
he
you
was
you
hitting
get
the
attached to
ball.
the name. You get attached to the name, and Brandon Lowe and is a fantastic player. Like I'm not even
Yes,
taking anything against him.
I love him.
Offensively, great, fastest second baseman to 100 home runs in MLB history.
Right.
Nothing against that. But in terms of an overall value, defense, plate discipline, contact, like there are things that Gavin Lux will bring to the table. And, maybe he isn't as good as Brandon Lowe in an overall aspect, but he's going to make more contact, better plate discipline. And if something does happen, injury or whatever, you could plug him in at third if you really wanted to. You could definitely plug him in at short. He's done it with the Dodgers, did it a little bit with the Reds. Um, I fully agree with you on that. I do.
I love that we both had that thought.
No,
That
that
makes
was
me
good.
that makes me happy. Okay, two more, which I'm gonna have you. This is all you, and I feel like you might have started, but maybe you have a different one. One bold prediction. Feel like you could do either one of the two.
I don't want to do like Jacob Melton 20 home runs or like 25 home runs. I think that's like kind of I would say known. Um a hot take. Oh dude. I want to
Like,
say one, but like I don't think it's gonna be right like whatsoever. Like
well,
I
like
just think
it's just supposed to be bold.
I would just say Hunter Fiducia is just gonna be really good. Not really good, but I think he's gonna be good. I think he's getting dogged on a lot in terms of just like the public eye, but like when you look at the minor league track record, you look at like he's a pretty average defensive catcher. I think there's some room to grow receiving
We are
wise.
on the same wavelength.
I think that would be because like you know what you're getting with Yandy. I think Gavin Lux is gonna be good. Either Hunter Fredousha is going to be good this season, which I don't think is bold. Like I just like him, I think more than a lot of other people.
Me too.
Or if Ben Williamson gets any sort of playing time under his belt, like Ben Williamson has a chance to be like a high 2-win player at his peak. Like there's a lot to like there. I think the bat could there's some more to tap into. A lot of versatility. Um, I would say probably those two.
I like
Would
it.
be my guess because like a lot of people will see like oh he didn't hit for power. He had like a below league average WRC plus like all this, but like defense, the plate discipline, the contact. There's a lot to play with there.
See, that's why I like talking to you. Context is king. But my last lightning round, which was kind of long, but last thing, kind of going off what you're talking about and me appreciating you and your context. One stat that fans should learn this year. Like, your brain to me is like an encyclopedia, and I'm probably like a couple chapters in, but you have the whole encyclopedia in your head. But I'm curious, like, what you think people should start paying attention to kind of help them in their opinions.
I would just say an easy one is WRC plus. So it's like a whole capture of like an offensive output. So like if a guy, let's say a guy's hitting, 220 batting average, right? Like
Uh,
you look at the surface, it's not good, but he hits a bunch of home runs. He's not striking out a bunch. He's hitting 220, but his WRC plus is 105 or 110. You would look at his WRC plus because it captures everything rather than just his batting average, which I really don't even use anymore. Um, so instead
okay.
of a 220 hitter, he'd be either 5 or 10% better than league average. I think another one too for hitters is X Woba. I know a lot of people know what Woba is, but if you
Uh-huh.
look at X Woba, it's a really good predictor of who's really good. It shows quality of contact results. It has launch angle. It has a bunch of different outcomes of what a player can be. And on the pitching side, a really easy one. I wouldn't use ERA. I think it's sometimes even more of a team stat because
Hmm.
it doesn't really
Okay.
take into account defense. I would look at FIP over ERA.
Okay.
Um, and then another really easy one too, especially for like some of the minor league guys that are going to be coming up. K minus walk ratio or walk minus K ratio, whatever you want to do with it. It's
Uh-huh.
like the number one predictor for starting pitching or just pitching in general. It's like one of the easiest stats to know about, but it's crazy to see like how much it correlates with success.
I love it. I'm gonna make sure all of those things are included in this episode because I feel like I try to provide as much context as I can for just talking. But there are so many resources out there, and you do such a good job. In all honesty, putting it out there and getting it to us in a way that is easy to digest. And your graphics have gotten really good. I know I told you this in
I appreciate
person,
it.
but they have been spectacular. My eyes are drawn to them, and that's what I need. So speaking of that, make sure everyone knows your handle, where to find you, what you're doing. I know you're writing articles now, you're doing all these things.
Yeah, mainly just on Twitter. OPS underscore baseball. It's a orange logo, and then on YouTube as well. Same thing. It's just running from the OPS, but definitely gonna be very very busy with trying to get some stuff situated after graduating college and um starting some new stuff up with my personal brand. So it's gonna be a very very busy season aside from baseball too.
Yeah, and before we go, a lot of we took that picture on Tuesday and all the boys were like, we got to get the merch. So,
Yeah, we'll see. It's I got a batch in like I think it was like the first time I got it in and the quality was like really
oh
bad. Like
no.
even this, yeah,
No.
it's not the best, but no,
Hey.
there's I just have to be consistent this year with a bunch of different things and like when I'm not working or whatever, like it's gonna have to be doing this. There's
Yeah.
no going out with friends or partying or whatever, like it's gonna have to be this.
It's a grind. I only do a fraction of what I think you're putting in, and it's a grind, but you're doing such a good job, and it's really paid off because I remember little old OPS. Look at him now. Look at Ops. He's
Wow, bro.
he's gotten big. Yes, he has.
No, no.
Yes, yes. You should embrace it because you're putting a lot of work in. So,
I appreciate it. Yeah, I know
yeah.
definitely a lot of work.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I feel better now. Like I feel not that I felt bad going into it, but now I'm just like excited to watch the rest of the spring and pray for no injuries. What's your prediction on the WBC?
Who wins it?
Yeah.
I think USA wins it pretty easily.
Who do
They
they
have really
face in
good.
the final?
Probably I don't know if they're in the same pool, but probably like D. I would just say them and DR are like
That's what I'm thinking.
the top two. But like pitching is very important. I don't think. I mean, DR has a good rotation, but it's not like this is the best. This is the best team the United States has ever put on the field. Like it's not even a debate.
I'm so excited. Ah,
Yeah, no, yeah. Watching, I will say, if we do lose, I hope Junior Caminero hits an absolute tank against us to do it. Like that would be. I honestly wouldn't even be mad, bro. Like that would be sick,
yeah, and then they need to sign an extension very, very soon because the rate is
bro.
going through
Please.
the roof the more he does that. Oh, well, this was great. Thank you so much.
No, I really. This is a lot of fun, and it's
Yay.
fun like because you have all the ideas in your head and you think about them, and like I can't put out publicly like all my thoughts. So like collecting them and going through them and talking about them, and you look at the team, like I think there's a lot. Even like I'm not expecting them to be an insane team or maybe even like a great team, but if they are a competitive team and you build on that, you get Cammy's extension out of the way, you get the stadium stuff out of the way. You could see an owner that's spending more money. I mean, even like bro, even with Steven Matz and Nick Martinez, like I didn't expect them to get any of
Yeah.
those guys to be quite honest. So, there, dude, there's a lot to be excited for.
Yes.
I think it is a new generation of Rays baseball.
100%. And I'm so excited. And that's why I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing because I want people to be along for the ride because I promise you guys are going to fall in love with these guys and you're gonna forget all your complaints because there's a good team brewing.
All the outfield stuff that happened last year, I would not even think twice about it. There's put it this way, there's no way they could be worse than what they were last year in the outfield. To be like,
You're not even being hyperbolic. Like that's true. They
no,
can't.
it was literally like I don't think you could. I don't think it could be
They'd have
worse.
to try.
Okay, one like I found the Carson Williams thing. I don't know
Do it.
if we have
Yes.
time order.
Yes.
Okay, so this was July 28th. So like not all the way through the season. So Carson Williams on the road, so like not in Durham. 9 home runs, a slash line, so like batting average first of 277, 382 on base, 547 slugging, a 929 OPS on the road. I was actually wrong. It was higher than 900. 28% K percentage at home, 8 home runs. He was hitting 160. Like from two, like if you just want to use batting average, which I still don't use, 277 to 160. His
Mhm.
OPS was 593 compared to 929. His K percentage was 41%. It was the highest in the International League for AAA. I get the concerns and everything with the profile. I have apps that can track all that stuff too. You cannot tell me that he would like it has to be he was not seeing the ball well there. That is a what is that? A 13% gap in K
Mhm.
rate? 41%?
Which
I
is
mean, that's like
huge.
Joey Gallo. Like it's
Yeah.
insane.
That that is bizarre. But it's one of those things though, like no one's gonna talk about it really, I feel like. Like you really
No,
have
they
to
I don't even
be.
think they have a batter's eye. They just have like grass, bushes, and stuff. So there's not even like a set thing for batters to pick up stuff. I don't know. It's weird. There's also a few other guys I was tracking last year that were like not that extent, but definitely had some drop off
That
from home
is
and away.
crazy. Continue to monitor that because I'm just curious. That's
Yeah, I that was like the like I get all the context and a lot of it is right with him because like I look into him a lot too, but I did
yeah.
not see a single person like this. The splits are really drastic. Like that's he had the sixth highest OPS away from Durham on July 28th. He had the fourth lowest at home. That's not a coincidence, in my
That's
opinion.
drastic.
That's crazy.
That is quite drastic. Well, listen, I want the best for him. I think that it like you said, ceiling is high.
It is high, but
The
the floor is still kind of like not bad because he's great defensively, so it's not super low.
right.
But the offensive floor is certainly low. Like
Yeah.
and he would even probably tell you that respectfully. Like, but he knows what he needs to work on. I think I mean, no one knows really what he did except the people that work for the org. But
Uh,
maybe he did work on some things. If he improves it a little bit,
yeah.
he does a lot of his damage hard of the plate, in zone two, which is like right above the heart of the plate, so like high middle.
Mhm.
Um, so if he's seeing a lot of those high fastballs and some of those like hanging breaking balls, which he's not going to be seeing a lot in Major League Baseball, if he's able to improve on some of the other offerings and zone locations, I think he could have a solid year when he's able to get his chance. Because there's no shot that he's not going to play a decent amount this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's not going to go through a whole nother year of AAA.
No.
Like he'll be up at some point.
Yeah. And yeah. I was gonna mention the Walsey being pulled today, but it's just so early to me
Yeah,
that
hopefully Taylor Wallace is okay with his oblique because that's an injury that I mean I mean hopefully it's just precautionary, but if there's guys that have a decent oblique injury, it takes almost sometimes a guys a year to fully recover from that. Like
listen,
they'll
that
still play a
was
few months, but like a full year to be like okay, like I'm not worrying about this.
Yeah, that was Bilal for the longest time.
Yeah.
He had obliques, Josh Lowe had obliques.
Oh, Josh Lowe had obliques. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, yeah, hopefully that I don't want it to be anything, but that's just if that happens and like another decision's made, yada yada
Oh
yada.
yeah. Oh yeah. There's not even a bad, it's not even a bad thought. It's just that, like we talked about earlier. There's a lot of depth. I think they addressed like someone's gonna get hurt. Like it's same thing with the rotation. Like Drew Rasmussen, 3 major arm injuries just through like what 140 plus innings. Shane McClellan hasn't
Mhm.
pitched in 2 years. Ryan Pepio, highest amount of innings he's ever pitched in
Yeah,
his career. Um,
I am
I mean, there.
nervous. Not nervous
Well,
because it's not anything anyone can do. It's just
no, and like they have so much depth that I don't think like it certainly you want them to stay healthy, but like
right.
I ideally something is going to happen with some point of like some part of the team, offensive pitching, like happens to every single major league team. It depends on who it is,
Yeah,
what are the guys behind him, how can we construct a team differently, and if it's a pitcher, who's ready in the minors, who's ready at the MLB level,
yeah,
I think they are much better equipped this year than they were last year in terms of that.
100%. 100%. And honestly, arguably, they're equipped for multiple scenarios. They
No,
are
I know. I agree. I think if the team is fully healthy and there's like maybe one or two, like if there's one you're out for the season, I think it happens almost with every single team. If there's maybe one of those and a slightly larger chunk one, and you see like let's say 80% of the team is what they think it can be. 80% still pretty high. Let's say 70 or 65%. I
mhm,
think the team is just a very competitive good baseball team. And if the cards are right, like this could be a playoff team. I'm not saying they are right now. You never the division is crazy good,
yeah,
but I think they have a very competitive team. I really do think so. And I think the more you look at it, if you look at some of the other sites like Baseball Savant or Fangraphs or even TJ Stats with his pitch plots and just look at some of the guys and some of the outlier stuff, there's a lot to be excited about. I really do think that.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And now I'm just more excited to watch the rest of spring and get the season started, get back at the Trop, factor that in because it's going to be a huge factor on this team. And I think the world is getting back to normal a little bit. So
Yeah,
it'll be exciting to see.
mentally, it's awesome knowing that baseball is. You feel better.
Yes, I do feel better. Today was a good day. Like what we saw, good conversation. Thank you again for spending an hour of your time
No,
with
it's
me.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I had a great time. We'll have to follow up on some of our predictions as the season goes along.
Yeah, bold is. I'm not going to say my full opinion on those because I know what they are, but I don't want to be whatever. But I hope those could come true. I do think those are the two areas where it was Gavin Lux. I think a lot of people were hating on him, which
Yeah,
honestly I will say I think Gavin Lux would just be good at that. But I hope Hunter Fiducia is able to translate even 60% of what he did in the minors. I think he'd be a lot better than what we saw last year in a limited sample and just in general what we saw from the catching position.
yeah, which has always
Was
been
not wasn't good.
yeah,
Wasn't good. I mean,
always
just
been
it
an
just wasn't.
issue for us. But yeah, a lot of upside. And so we'll just see how it all plays out. We've got a long season ahead of us. I'm excited for it. And we'll do this again. We'll do
For
this again.
sure.
This was fun. Thank you again so much. And I will see you guys later. Bye.